Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Deyam sada paribhavagnamadbhishtadoham Tirthaspadam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam Vrityarthiyam pranatapala bhavabdhipotam Vande mahapurushate charanaravindam Hantaya madhriyabala haridas varyo Yan Ramakrishna charana sparsha pramoda Manam tanoti sahago ganayostayoryat Paniyasuyavasakandara kandamudaihi Mukam karoti vachalam pangum danghayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity and spending your valuable time in participating in this discussion. And again, I seek blessings of all of you that right words come out of the mouth so that that inspires us and this thus basks in that purification. We discussed about this particular Leela pastime in which Gopinath Patnaik is put on Changa. That's the chapter 9th of the Antya Leela. Any interesting thing begins with a crisis, because if the crisis is not there, then it is normal life, right? So it is said in the fiction world that you're writing a fiction must begin with a crisis, because otherwise people won't read it. And if the crisis does not happen, then the crossroads won't be highlighted. And if the crossroads are not highlighted, then the cure will not be fetched. So many minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day pastimes would have happened in Chaitanya Leela, isn't it? But our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is bringing out the quintessential pastimes. And then we have other biographers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, Lochandas Thakur, Kavi Karnapur, and maybe in the future some may more come, because I think he says, Aage aur vistar hoga. Kaise? Only Gaurang Mahaprabhu knows. Well, in one sense it is happening also. Beautifully, His Holiness Jaipatak Swami Maharaj is bringing out so much nuggets. This time, Vrindavan, he was there in Kartik and he gave a beautiful class. And the way he says Gaurang, right? It's like, Hindi mein kya bolte hain se? Wrongte khade ho jana. Literally, it was palpable, and we all were discussing such love for Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So it's being written, people are writing it. So this quintessential pastime is picked, in which it begins with the crisis that Gopinath Patnaik is put on Changa, how some misunderstanding based on material outlook. Well, these are Parshadas, but if we take the lessons from them as well, devotees, sadhakas, then we can apply them in our lives too. Gopinath Patnaik, we can understand his situation also. He Even for Gopinath Patnaik, we can derive that we must hold on. A certain situation is happening, so let's not make what attack? Ad hominem attack. Ad hominem attack is that situation, the dur abhi, let's attack the character itself. If that was घोड़े का, right? He could have said, क्या बात कर रहे हो, थोड़ा अच्छे दाम लगाओ, let me bring more meat. No, उसको side पे रख के the attack was, तुम गर्दन ऊपर नीचे क्यों घुमा रहे हो? So that becomes an ad hominem attack. And oftentimes we are in the situation where कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. So directly we ask existential questions. How does that person exist? Like evolutionary questions we ask. Directly origin of the person is questioned. So isme our acharyas tell us that's why it is better to always vibrate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Gap ki jagah hum jap kare. And on mala, off mala. In mind, when the quota is done, we can keep vibrating, no harm. And in fact, it will help us, our mind disentangle with the situation. It will give that, these modern days, people talk about to be proactive, not reactive, or stop, what do they call it? Response, increase the response time. How we'll increase the response time? By adding more sattva. What about adding Vishuddha sattva? I mean, that will really give us. So I've seen, once I went to Jagannath Puri, and we went to Madhavanand Prabhu's place. And there is I think Srila Prabhupada disciple staying there. His name is Bhakta Rupa Prabhu, if I'm not mistaken. His lips were always moving. It was so inspiring. He's gotten so fixed up in Hare Krishna. So it was so inspiring to see that. And then such hold on kind of attitude naturally dawns on us, right? Because Vishuddha Sattva, beyond Sattva. Mahaprabhu is also indicating that I will not jump here. And what does he say in his own way? Jagannath will take care, pray to him. So again, the managerial or the Kshatriya instinct in us will tell, come on, बैठक बुलाई जानी चाहिए थी और इसका कुछ वहीं पे निर्णय होना चाहिए था. परंतु आरंभ से ही हम, what is the Mahavakya we are taking? Chaitanya Charitra e Parama Gambhir. Shei bujhe jar pade tar man adhir. Something like that, right? Jiska man dheer, his intelligence is stuck on the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he only can understand. And that's required. We look at these Leela from a avaroha pantha, that they are descending on us. Hence, we give post hoc explanations and derive post hoc lessons, but to do anusandhan. What does anusandhan means? Research or think. What? Sri Krishna Chaitanya daya karaha vichar. Vichar karibe paibe hriday chamatkar. This chamatkar is, not that Shah Rukh Khan's long time back movie. I don't know, एक थी, कभी किसी ने बताया था, उसमें empire बनता है, गायब हो जाता है, जो भी है. Not that chamatkar. This chamatkar is a very technical word in our Gaudiya thing. It's a astonishment in the heart. The astonishment where we feel, that's how my Lord is. How wonderful. And that link gets established. In fact, rasa is also said to be some chamatkar. अब क्या चमत्कार है वो तो जब होगा तभी पता लगेगा. अभी तो theoretically at least we can, chamatkar means some effervescence reaction in the heart in which we feel again the same thing which we discussed last time, right place, right thing, I'm in the right association, I'm in the right place and I'm doing the right thing. बहुत हो गया, इससे ऊपर नहीं चाहिए. So that feeling of chamatkar will come when we do the anusandhan of, okay, I don't know why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is acting, but it's for my benefit. So here Mahaprabhu gives the link, and what happens? Who gets inspired? Harichandran Patra, who is in the Brahminical council of the king, Pratap Rudra. They were very close. So he thought, Jagannath, the king, Gopinath Patnaik, that's the link. So let me go there. O king, your Gopinath Patnaik is a devotee of Jagannath. You are a devotee of Jagannath. He is your dear follower. Why are you not acting intelligently? आप उन्हें मार डालोगे, धन भी नहीं मिलेगा और आपका फेवरेट फॉलोअर भी चले जाएगा. ये क्या, you know, this is an insult to he didn't say insult because, but it's a not use of intelligence proper. So king also understood, and there we bring out the character of the king too, that he knows some hera pheri, right, has happened. May not be in a very great sense, but yeah, you were supposed to pay, he didn't pay. But he also understood that it is a misunderstanding between Purushottam Jana and Gopinath Patnaik. ठीक है, सबको अपनी, you know what, they have faced what they have to face. Let's not penalize them twice. You know, this used to be the mantra for Olympiads. We would represent India in Olympiads. So, you know, the question has 10 parts, right? And the 10 parts are connected. तो पहले पार्ट का आंसर आया X. अब वो that X has to carry forward, right? A person ने X में ही घपला कर दिया तो it will carry forward, but they won't penalize it twice. अब X की वैल्यू 1 से करोगे तो आंसर ठीक आएगा, बट इसने तो 10 ही ले ली वैल्यू. तो नाउ दे थिंक, अच्छा 10 लेके भी ठीक किया है क्या, कया है तो उसके मार्क्स मिलेंगे. They won't be penalized twice. कुछ तो सही कर रहा है बंदा, एक स्टेप गलत किया वो उसको सारे स्टेप के लिए वी आर क्रूसिफाइंग हिम. ये क्या क्या बात का न्याय हुआ. सो सिमिलरली है प्रताप रुद्र इज थिंकिंग, वेल ठीक है अब हो गया है, लेट्स मीडिएट नॉट लिटिगेट. Let's mediate, and this mediator has come on his own accord. Who is the mediator here? Harichandan Patra. So he said, "Bhaiya, sab rafa dafa karo. I don't want his life. I want his money, and that's a good proposal. Do a good, you can say, assessment of the ghodas prices, and thoda apology letter वगैरह बोल दे दिया जाए." Even in modern life, it happens. Same ISKCON resolve. The person was telling that how the incumbent chief minister was there of Delhi and somebody was coming in. एक दूसरे पर defamatory case, एक ने एक के ऊपर defamatory case थोप दिया. What is defamatory case? कुछ भी लांछन लगा दिया, right? So when the defamatory case happened, stopped, stalemate, litigation, cases and more cases. So this person, JP Singh, was brought. And his friends were laughing. भाई तुम करोगे क्या, two big guns के बीच में. But he was determined. What determination was there? That the interests of people are something else in the heart. What they project out is completely different. So interest क्या था? किसी के हृदय को उस defame से ठेस पहुंच गई थी. वो बाहर कुछ उलट पुलट होके निकल रहा था. Sometimes cases are not solved only. Why? Because person may not want the case to be solved only. They have gotten so used to the lifestyle of going to the court and they're dealing with that. When the case is coming closer to conclusion, something else comes up. No, I'm not satisfied with this. Human minds are so complex. So you know what the resolution happened between these chief ministers? Apology letter. बट घुमा फिरा के अपॉलॉजी लेटर, मीनो कान को ऐसे करके घूम के टांग से निकाल के पकड़ना. उसमें लिखा था ऐसे, हाँ मैंने कुछ शब्द बोल दिए थे, मेरी इंटेंशन नहीं थी. अगर आपको गलती से ठेस पहुंच गया था हो, फिर भी मैं नहीं चाहता था, लेकिन अगर ठेस पहुंच गया तो मैं माफी मांगने का प्रयास करता हूं. क्या घुमा फिरा के. आई थिंक द गोल्डन थिंग वाज दैट some sense prevailed, मान लिया. So here the mediation happened and the case was solved. But Mahaprabhu has more Leela to manifest. So Kashi Mishra comes to Mahaprabhu and tells, you know, things have been solved. So Mahaprabhu is pleased, but he has to do another Leela. So he said, I will not want to stay here. I want to go to Alalnath. सब लोग आके परेशान करते रहते हैं. एंड सी हाउ एस्ट्यूट महाप्रभु इज. ही सेज 4 बार लोगों ने परेशान किया, एंड इट्स लिटरली 4 बार. कभी तो हम ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, एक बार किसी ने परेशान किया, परेशान करने. महाप्रभु इज
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
ये तो तभी मैं ही बचाऊंगा. Let me go out of it. So Kashi Mishra here is stopping Mahaprabhu, and he's telling that why should you be agitated by these effects? हम सन्यासी हो, आपको इतना ज्यादा टेंशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. और सही कह रहा हूँ कि जो मटेरियलिस्टिक लोग आपको शिप करते हैं ना, they are actually, he says, but he should be considered number one fool. I think that's Prabhupada. Shai Murkha Jana, somebody who is worshipping out of some desires, he's a number one fool, Prabhupada says. But if one engages in devotional service for your satisfaction, that will result in the greatest wealth. Hridaya Uday. Shravan Adi Shuddhi Chite Karya Uday. But for that, the attitude also has to be right. And here he now comes to the rescue of Gopinath Patnaik, because abhi tak clear nahi hua hai ki Gopinath Patnaik ki intention kya thi, right? Mahaprabhu said, hey, society girls pe waste kar rahe the, and that could be like a father's chiding also, right? Gopinath Patnaik would not be calling literally, but it could be a function. और कुछ जरूरतें किसी भक्तों की ज्यादा होती हैं, right? Some are requiring less, some are requiring more. That's fine. So he says, तोमा लागी रामानंद राज्य त्याग कैला. आपके ऐसे बहुत भक्त हैं जो आपकी सेवा निष्काम भाव से करते हैं, और आपके लिए रामाराय ने तो राज्य छोड़ दिया, और तोमा लागी सनातन ने विषय छाड़ीला. ऐसे ही गोपीनाथ पटनायक भी है. रामानंदेर भाई गोपीनाथ महाशय. Mahashaya here Prabhupada translates as a great gentleman. And I think this is beauty of Srila Prabhupada, right? He chooses, last time we were discussing that prose perfect. Prabhupada's prose is proses and word to word meanings are appreciated by great scholars. They say, आपके स्वामी प्रभुपाद के जो purports और translation होते हैं बड़े poetic होते हैं, हमें बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. And in my understanding, Prabhupada's translation purports are not only his ecstasies and his explaining the meanings, but he encapsulates in them pure acharyas ka nichod bhi. And this we can, technically prove it also. If you take Sridhar Swami's commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, अरे ये word कहाँ से डाल दिया? Go back. It's a great exercise and maybe somebody's PhD thesis. Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu in ISKCON Communication Journal actually wrote an article in which he took a verse of the 4th canto and he showed how what Prabhupada is writing is coming all the way from Sridhar Swami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, and he is giving even more. So a great gentleman. तो आप उन पे इतना, he was not squandering, he was remembering you. So आप प्लीज अलालनाथ मत जाए, और फिर भी आपको दिक्कत है तो अब मैं कह देता हूं, nobody will disturb you. अभी ऐसा कुछ नहीं, अभी we'll have what you can say like screening process. स्वरूप दामोदर करते थे, कोई भी उनके पास कविता या ड्रामा लेके आता था, अपनी रचना लेके आता था, like now we'll also have managerial screening also for managerial issues. Okay, so it was at least solved. And यहां तक हम सोचेंगे अब सब ठीक है, सॉल्व हो गए, बट नो, This Leela is very actually deep. In fact, we are going a little bit faster. However, every 5 or 10 verses here can itself form a discussion, isn't it? So I stop here. I am playing the role of a Vidushaka. So I did the discussion. I open for reflection. Till now, what we have read and discussed, what comes to your mind? Any reflection, any thought, and then we'll move forward. Because last time it was enriching, right? So many of you were sharing, so it became very nice. Yes, Prabhu.
I like the point that private, prolonged, and periodical exposure or attacks or distractions and really something like a drop falls on a stone, periodical, regular, can make a hole in the stone. So it has a lot of tremendous impact. Need to be careful about that. Nice one.
I don't know whether this is fiction or non-fiction, but perhaps it is a reality which inspired somebody to write something. There was a person who was convicted. Convicted means like jail ho jana, right? So convicted of a crime which he did out of anger, or maybe he didn't do. So poor fellow was in a jail. But what he did, he made a friendship with the jailer, not the jailer, the warden. And वो उसको ऐसे Bible पढ़ाता था. And उस Bible में he would hide a small हथौड़ी, छोटी सी हथौड़ी. हाँ? Shawshank Redemption. So he would what do? खट 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 ऐसे खोदते जाता था. And 20 सालों में उसने टनल बना डाली. I'm just amazed. But it's possible also. जैसे थोड़ा थोड़ा करते जाए और वो कचरा निकालते जाता था बाहर. टनल बना दी और वो भाग निकला. Actually, our struggle in this material world is also like that. जेल है, हम ऐसा तो नहीं बुलडोजर, आप बस आज रात को मैं बुलडोजर से सब तोड़ दूंगा. Not possible. बुलडोजर मिलेगा भी नहीं. We are taking atomic steps, baby steps. So we dent by dent, dent by dent, dent by dent, we are making, and hopefully one day the tunnel will be there. We'll see the light of the other day. Thank you for making that point. And with phones, I think it matches so well, right? Private, prolonged, and periodic. More thoughts, comments, reflections? Please, something which stuck with you, or you disagree also. Should I?
They would want to complete the narration to hear so that they can get a full picture. Otherwise,
okay. Otherwise, picture abhi baki hi hai. So I take that as order from Revatipati Prabhu. Now, Kashi Mishra was daily served by Pratap Rudra. That's the culture, right? The Kshatriyas would serve the Brahmanas, and he would daily massage their feet. And Kashi Mishra, when such crisis happens, when you're dealing with personality like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's telling me alalna chale jaunga. So the devotees ke dimag mein wo chal rahi hai abhi bhi, right? What if next time something happens and somebody is so eager कि he just breaches the security of managers, and then he goes right in and says, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, वापस दिक्कत हो गई, रोक नहीं पाएंगे तो क्या हुआ, like that. So something must be done. And I don't know whether he pre-planned it or whether it was spontaneous. He told to king, Deva suno aur ek aparup baat. Aparup means uncommon. Aparup baat. What baat? Mahaprabhu kshetra chhadi jabe na alalanath. That only is like a thunderbolt, dynamite. Mahaprabhu wants to leave Jagannath Puri and go to Alalanath. And hearing this only, king becomes distraught. Why does he want to go? So the entire narration is narrated. Ki what happened? King knew it. But then, coming from Kashi Mishra now, who is his guru, with the backdrop that all this may instigate Mahaprabhu to leave. This was it. So here, Kashi Mishra is also narrating some moral and ethics principles. Kind of, well, Mahaprabhu said, or he's putting words in Mahaprabhu's mouth, because Mahaprabhu's intention was that even if we are pure devotees, it gives us no right whatsoever to play with the state laws, because our life is entangled, intertwined with state dharma also. So just because that, well, our tattva is highest and our rasa is highest and our acharyas are great, so we can bypass, that should not be done. So he's telling, one who serves the government but misappropriates the government's revenue is liable to be punished by the king. That is the verdict of revealed scriptures. He's narrating, these are Mahaprabhu's words, and kind of telling us also our interaction with the outside world. Once I asked a senior devotee कि प्रभु कभी कभी झूठ बोलना पड़ता है, बाहर कभी कभी बोलना पड़ता है to escape the serious onslaughts on our devotional practice. Immediately that devotee told me, but you should be careful. It should not become a habit, because then what will happen? It will spill over inside. The anarthas are not like compartmentalized anarthas. Okay, you can use the asatya with outside, but don't worry, asatya, I will not come when your dealings with devotees. Aisa nahi hota. Or, well, you can become angry with outside people, but no, you'll be immune with me. It's not compartmentalized. Cancer, right? Cancer doesn't say, nahi, abhi main bas prostate gland ko affect karunga, haan, baki kisi ko nahi. Doesn't happen. It can move around because it's after all cancer. Usse multiply hona hai. So people get relapses. So similarly, these anarthas are also like cancer. They can affect the different organs of our operation. Organs of operation when we are interacting with devotees, when we are devoting with peers, with seniors, with outside those who do not yet know they are devotees. They are devotees, but they do not know. It will take time for them. So here the lesson is given that caution has to be exercised. Do we make asatya as the nitya habit? If our goal is satya, the path must be also satya. Isn't it? If the goal is absolute truths, what's that verse? There are too much satyams in that. Satya, trisatyam, too many. It's a satya verse, right? The path also has to be. No, well, Krishna said, Naro, Kunjaro, aise karke, right? Ashwathama. But then that cannot be used as a license. Why? Because the honesty is also the foundation for trust. And when the principles of honesty is squandered, then it gives rise to a royal road to enter into hypocrisy and lack of trust. People would stop believing us. Are yaar, generally kuch na kuch to tadka marta hi hai. Abhi kyun vishwas karne ka? So here, Mahaprabhu is telling that our interaction is happening with the outside world. So let it be a fair play. Follow as much like legal rules, right? And these days, even out of necessity and pragmatism, we should follow the legal rules, right? Because if it is not followed, reverse effects can be very costly, very, very ultra costly. So this lesson is given, and Mahaprabhu's kind of strong view on this is indicated. But King Prataprata heard all these details and he said, I understand this, and the things are resolved. And Gopinath Patnaik, I believe he has gotten the lesson. But what is the main fixation of Raja? Mahaprabhu is thinking about leaving Jagannath Puri. So we have sometimes different focus is, right? Certainly the focus is Gopinath Patnaik should later not squander the money. But he is sure that he has followed the lesson. Now he's more worried about Mahaprabhu should not leave. So he does something. He says, I do not care about this small sum of 2 lakh kanas. What to speak of this? I would indeed sacrifice everything at the lotus feet of the Lord, including my life and kingdom. Now, this is too much. And what does he do? He does increase double his salary, 2 lakh to 4 lakh. And there is one thing which he does, which is repeated again and again in this. Neta dhati. Huh? Silken turban or silken, I don't know what, like silken turban or silken that wo pehnate hai na jaise. So that becomes a big deal. I think it was perhaps a sign of a great royal acceptance. बाद में गोपीनाथ पटनायक भी बोलते हैं, कहाँ तो चंगा पे डाल दिया था, कहाँ तो double salary और नेता धाती. So this word is repeated and it kind of impinges in our heart. And king said, अरे भाई, I had no desire to give pain to Gopinath Patnaik. अगर उनकी मांगे थोड़ा ज्यादा है तो ठीक है. रामन राय से कब हमने अकाउंट दिया था, वो कितना स्पेंड कर रहे हैं, कितना खर्च कर रहे हैं, कभी नहीं लिया. सो गोपीनाथ पटनायक का भी मैं डबल कर देता हूं. आई एम टोटली फाइन इट. बट महाप्रभु से कहना ही शुड नॉट लीव जगन्नाथपुरी. देन काशी मिश्रा सेड, वेट अ मिनट, महाप्रभु वोंट बी हैप्पी. एक तो लेसन की जगह यू आर इंक्रीजिंग हिज मटीरियल ऑपुलेंस एंड महाप्रभु भक्तगण वैराग्य प्रधान, वैराग्य विदा निज भक्ति योग शिक्षार्थम एक पुरुष पुराणम. सो महाप्रभु would get doubly non-linear on this. First, already he's thinking, he's troubled कि people are disturbing him, people are not paying their money due in proper time, and now perhaps you are encouraging that. So he said, no. Of course, I am concerned about Mahaprabhu's leaving Jagannath Puri, but I am doing it out of my sahaja priti, not sahajiya priti. Sahajiya means something cheaply. Sahaj means naisargik or natural, which doesn't need any intellectual justification. Sometimes we just love devotees, and some devotees we love a lot, and often there are really no reasons. It can be two different antipodes, and they can be too much, like-minded also. But sometimes this preeti develops. So I have a sahaj preeti for Bhavananda Rai and all his sons, and tell this to Mahaprabhu, because he would surely ask this question. And it so happened, Kashi Mishra goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or no, some servant goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he tells what has happened. And Mahaprabhu said, "Arey, ye kya kar diya tumne?" Lessons had to be learned, but here you are giving more opulence. How do you explain it? So Kashi Mishra said that king knew this, and his explanation is he loves Bhavananda Roy and the family. He loves your devotees. Isn't that a wonderful thing? And that gives Ananda to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whole Chaitanya Charitamrita is about dealings with devotees. And that's why it's a grantha to be kept close to heart. Hanumat Preshak Maharaj carries Upadeshamrita neck पे. अभी अगर ये बहुत छोटा बुक होता ना तो शायद हम भी वो carry कर सकते थे. But there are 9 volumes. However, this is precious. People call it the real Bengali sweets. So once we were distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita near the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in Silicon Valley, and we would introduce, these are the real Bengali sweets. This way, Kashi Mishra appeased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now the story doesn't end here. Who comes? Bhavananda Roy with all his sons, like Pandu running with all the Pandavas. But although I think, although there is some parallel with the pastimes of Mahabharata here, there was crisis. That's how I look at it. There was crisis, and Krishna orchestrated his mercy. Here also it is crisis, and in some mystical way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also orchestrating his mercy and throwing lessons here and there. So Bhavananda Roy comes and he explains, Mahaprabhu, tomar kripa dekho, you see your kripa, that कहां तो चंगे पर लटकाया हुआ था, कहां डबल सैलरी मिल गई, कोई अकाउंट नहीं देना, एंड नेता धाती, सिल्कन टर्बन. एंड ही सेज, आई रियली कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन. बीच बीच में कविराज भी कहते हैं कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु की क्या कृपा है, कौन इसका वर्णन कर सकता है. एंड इजंट दैट ट्रू, हाउ वी हैव बीन yanked out, I don't know about you, but I have been yanked out from material entanglement to this pristine movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vaisheshika Prabhu says, nobody tops Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the king of this movement, isn't it? Tyaktva sudustyaja surepsita raja lakshmim dharmishta arya vachasam yadagad aranyam bhage wo. Bhage. Yadagad aranyam. Aranya ka, the forest of material enjoyment. Yadagad. फिर क्या? माया मृगम दयितयेप्सित अन्वधावद. माया मृग, माया के ऊपर लट्टू हुए वे मृग समान हम नर, जिन्हें ह्यूमंस होना चाहिए था. हम मतलब मैं अपने लिए बात कर रहा हूं, लेकिन माया मृग, और उन माया मृग को पकड़ा उन्होंने. Kind of cast his nets far and wide. And one of the major persons doing that was Srila Prabhupada. I think it's Jananivas Prabhu who describes this beautiful meditation that Prabhupada took a beat back. He just walked around the globe. Just think about it. As he's walking, one temple springs here, one center springs here, one farm community springs here. He's doing just walking with his chanting beat back. 14 times he did, so many times the centers and farms and communities and bus parties, so and so came forward. So he cast the net far and wide. Because our philosophy is, some other sampradayas may have different philosophy, but our philosophy is that everybody is capable of spiritual emancipation. सबको ऊपर तक पहुंचाया जा सकता है. अरे ऊपर का छोड़ो, सबको डायरेक्ट व्रजधाम तक पहुंचाया जा सकता है. एबे वृंदावने राधा श्यामेर पाबे दर्शन. एबे वृंदावने राधा श्यामेर पाबे दर्शन. क्यों? गौर कृपा होले है, गौर कृपा होले है. गौरंग महाप्रभु के पास है. इसलिए वी टेल आवर माइंड, दयाल निताई चैतन्य बोले नाच रे आमार मन. अरे नाच मेरे मन, नाच. क्या? चैतन्य निताई का नाम बोल के. क्योंकि दैट वर्शिप ऑफ चैतन्य महाप्रभु विल टेक यू पियर्सिंग दी all the coverings, and वहां पे stop नहीं होगा. We were discussing with Antardweep Prabhu, back to Godhead वाला भी, मतलब only Godhead वाला level as we spoke is not there. It's going beyond establishing a relationship with Krishna, and as how in Brihad Bhagavatamrita Gopa Kumar enters and then Krishna faints. Oh, that's amazing, right? Krishna faints. Krishna is crying, अरे तुम क्या भटके हुए थे, कितनी बार भेजा तुम्हें, अब आए हो. So that gives us hope that our beloved Sri Krishna deserves us more than we even desire sometimes. Or rather, he desires us more than we desire. Yeah, sorry. So here, Bhavananda Rai comes, but he says, क्या मर्सी है महाप्रभु, मेरे को तो सैलरी डबल हो गई, नेता धाती डाल दी. आपको ही सोचने लग जाए गजब है, और मैं भी ऐसे कुछ कांड कर सकता हूं और फिर बाद में प्रेयर करूंगा. चैतन्य कृपा दया हो कर विचार, विचार करी बे पाई बे चमत्कार. He clarifies, but this is not your real mercy. Of course, Gopinath Patnaik is a pure devotee. All the sons were pure devotee, and Mahaprabhu is checking that in the middle. जब ये सब थोड़ा रफा दफा हो गया तो यास, वो वाणीनाथ राय क्या कर रहे थे? वाणीनाथ राय, he was just chanting Hare Krishna mantra only, and there is another proof. Some people may doubt कि वो Hare Krishna mantra है या कुछ और है. तो यहाँ पे आता है Hare Krishna in the Bengali. So one more proof. Too many proofs. So Vaninath Rai was counting with his finger 1,000 times. I don't know, maybe 10 times ऐसे किया, 10 into 10, 100, फिर वापस 10 किया. Then he would make a mark on his body. I'm reminded of salted bread, right? They were making bread ko use karke beads. And I'm also reminded about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Last time we read the words from Chaitanya Ashtakam, Pratham Chaitanya Ashtakam, Hare Krishneti Uchchai Spurito Rasana, फिर श्रेणी सौभाग कटी सूत्रोज्वल करा, हाथ में ऐसे एक माला पकड़ रखी है, वो माला यहाँ पे बंधी हुई है, उस माला में नॉट्स हैं. चैतन्य महाप्रभु इज काउंटिंग दैट. अब यहाँ पे शायद अलाउ नहीं कर रहे होंगे, तो अपने शरीर पे मार्क बना रहे हैं. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु was so pleased. Same Gopinath Patnaik is saying, Mahaprabhu, I was just remembering you. Kashi Mishra is telling, he's a great gentleman. And Patnaik is saying, but alas, O Lord, this is not your real mercy. Your real mercy is on Ramanand Roy. अरे सब कुछ उड़ा दिया उसका आपने, इतना ज्यादा झमेला था, इस झमेले से निकाल दिया और मुझे डबल झमेला दे दिया और वो नेता धाती दे दिया. अब जहां पे भी he must make this point so as to lay down again and again the principles of Uttama Bhakti, which is the USP of Gaudiyas, unique selling point, unique service point. ऐसे strands ज्ञान और कर्म की बिल्कुल separate कर देना, you know, because sometimes that's our royal path. हमें ऐसे definitions दिए हैं, हमें ऐसा इस ग्रंथों के माध्यम से ऐसा सत्संग मिल रहा है कि ऐरे गहरे सत्संग में we won't be satisfied. Half of the time we'll be thinking about ये बोल क्या रहे हैं, जैसे कभी बोलते हैं लोग और बाहर भक्ति से ज्ञान तक, ज्ञान से भक्ति तक. What do you mean? Qualify, and it's a very flimsy statement, right? Yes, indeed, God is love, but what do you mean by God is love and love is God? Qualify. So for us, Uttama Bhakti definition is given. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam and Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, not Anya Bhilasha Shunyam. Some Anya Bhilashita, that suffix is used, ki you should not desire for desire. But sometimes some desire may come in emergency situation that, oh Lord, protect us. That's okay. अन्या भिलाषिता शून्यम ज्ञान कर्माद्यनवृतम. वो ज्ञान कर्म तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, निष्काम होना चाहिए. सो ये सब सुनने के बाद कहीं और का टिकेगा ही नहीं, isn't it? And for sometimes some other people will say, but why don't you come to us also to hear? So what is our internal thing? We'll find it highly discordant with what higher principles we have received from Gaudiya Acharyas. And they have perfectly created definitions. And then Srila Prabhupada also comes, he also creates his own wonderful definitions. The greatness of a person is to be estimated from his ability to tolerate provoking situation. I mean, this is heavily loaded. क्योंकि नॉर्मल सिचुएशन में तो क्या टॉलरेंस की बात कही जाए, प्रोवोकिंग, जब कोई खुजली करता है, कोई प्रोब करता है, प्रॉड करता है, तब वहीं पे ही तो टॉलरेंस का मापदंड, यार्ड स्टिक हुई जाती है. सो हियर दैट्स व्हाई भाव, ही इज एन एसोसिएट, इट्स द सेम कल्चर, सो ही मस्ट आल्सो क्वालिफाई दिस. देन महाप्रभु, योर रियल मर्सी इज रामानंद रॉय, और मैं भी वही कृपा चाहता हूं. सो दैट वर्स आई थिंक वी विल रीड एंड एंड the part here. Ram Rai Vaninatha Koila Nirvishaya Shei Kripa Mote Nahi Jate Aiche Hoy. I have not been favored by such mercy. Shuddha Kripa Kara Goshai Guchaha Vishaya. Guchaha means here, let me be free from these material opulences. Nirvinna Hoinu Mote Vishaya Na Hoy. अब चैतन्य महाप्रभु, क्या आप बात कर रहे हो, तुम्हारी बड़ी फैमिली है, अभी सभी आश्रम ज्वाइन कर लेंगे तो फैमिली कौन चलाएगा. महाप्रभु इज प्रैग्मेटिक आल्सो. एंड अगेन ही स्ट्रेसेस दैट, यू नो, दैट एड आती थी क्लोरमेंट की, दोबारा मत पूछना वाला, ऐसा कुछ बोलते थे ना बार बार, Yeah, somebody remembers? Sthuna nikhanana nyaya. What is sthuna nikhanana nyaya? Nyaya, the logic of shaking the nail. अभी nail गड़ा या दीवार में नहीं, तो you shake it. टक टक टक. अभी तक नहीं गड़ा. So that's what our acharyas do again and again from Vyatirek and Anvaya Vyatirek, isn't it? Like Rupa Goswami is so much, I think, fed up with dry logic. He has to quote like 3 to 4 verses to tell. शुष्क तर्कम तो वर्जयेत. अरे तर्क से कुछ नहीं होता. Bhakti is not about tarka. Bhakti is not about dry debate. And he spends a lot of time on it. Why? Sthuna nikhanana nyaya. Nail घुस गया अंदर अच्छे से नहीं अभी okay, have it one more. So here also Mahaprabhu is telling, ठीक है, अगली बार से ध्यान रखना भैया, state laws also you must follow. Seeing all whatever is happening, all the devotees are very pleased, and this they hold in their hearts. Is this one time to be read? No. The daily reading means a daily reading. It must go on. Several Srila Prabhupada disciples, Bhagavatam khatam, fir chalu. Chaitanya Charitamrita, fir chalu. And that's actually the process of it seeping inside. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe only the translations. But that daily thing happens, then with the Grantha will start opening itself. The Grantha is telling, oh, this person is spending more time with me. Harinam Mahaprabhu. Harinam Prabhu, right? This person tries to spend qualitative and quantitative time with me. Let me unleash the mercy. Because these are also personalities. In modern life also it happens like that. We spend more time qualitative and quantitatively so that the person opens up. Pehle they size up. Chal kya raha hai? What are his affiliations? Then afterwards, let's open. So Grantha also, it will, and then Grantha also will start speaking. And that's why earlier there used to be a tradition of Kanthastha. Kanthastha. Ab wo tradition chala gaya hai. But Kanthastha, people would do Parayan, right? कितने बंगाली महात्मा हैं जो ज्यादा पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, लेकिन ये कंठस्थ है. उनके सामने गौड़िया सिद्धांत में अच्छे टिक नहीं सकते. पूरा याद है, इधर का उधर कोट, पयार, इसे पयार कहते हैं, बंगाली पयार. They just know it. So कंठस्थ का क्या फायदा होता है? यहां पे हो गया स्थित. रस के लिए इधर ले जा सकते हैं, इंटेलेक्चुअल एनालिसिस के लिए इधर ले जा सकते हैं, बट हो तो सही यहां पे. कृष्णोत्कीर्तन गान नर्तन परौ प्रेमामृतांभो निधि. अब then if we remember this verse, then we say, अच्छा, तो कृष्ण प्रेमामृत अम्बो निधि में डूबे हुए हैं, तो और क्या करेंगे? कृष्णोत्कीर्तन गान नर्तन परौ. They are expert because डूबे हुए हैं, तैर रहे हैं. So we start relishing it. The words open up. And what if we also add to the regiment the ocean of Srila Prabhupada's purports, because it has been again and again indicated by our Prabhupada Anugas that these are mines and jewels are there, but gota lagana padega. One practical way of gota lagana is reading it again and again. क्योंकि कभी तो नीचे तैर रहे हैं, तो कभी इच्छा होगी थोड़ा नीचे कर लो, ऊपर बोर हो गया, थोड़ा नीचे जाऊं. Just spending the time with the object, and it can be practical, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, like that. I'm just saying for myself. I know here there's a very strong regiment of reading Srila Prabhupada books. So this is held in devotees' heart. What a pastime. Let's do it again and again. Let's spend more time. And maybe the next time I read. And this time it happened like that. Some X number of times we read, and then we, अरे ये तो वही पुरुषोत्तम जाना था. Then I caught a brahmachari in Chowpatty and said, do you know that was Purushottam Jana जो उधर उधर घूम रहा था. सब लोग, अबे हाँ सही कह रहे हो. He was also pure devotee. He was also pure devotee. Such a lesson. So sometimes things escape, and then we do it again and again, and then it seeps. So this is how we end, and he again says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Charitra ei parama gambhir, shei bujhe jar pade tar manadhir. So we end like that. The classic verse of this chapter and all the chapters, Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Chaitanya Charitamrita Pade Ei Vaishnavadas. Hare Krishna. So we end here. We have till 4:15, around 12 to 13 minutes. Please, reflection, comments, thoughts, and I think that will enrich this Das. Questions? We have Antardip Prabhu also, so I will pass the question.
One of the most turning points is how the king deals with the whole thing, in the sense when Kashi Mishra meets him and he really rewards him in a very extraordinary way. So, of course, he told that Mahaprabhu would be upset, and Mahaprabhu did notice that and he felt upset. But still, it's little like, of course, he told the Mahavakyas, Param Gambhir. But, and did it to please Mahaprabhu in some way, or he really got the natural affection awakened, or still some thought not able to catch up. We had a long discussion on that point sometime. And then Mahaprabhu was upset in that sense that he felt that he's obliged to king now because king has done become his connection king.
Indirectly you've asked.
Yeah, indirectly asked, and he was really upset with Kashi Mishra. But then Kashi Mishra managed to pacify him, that is his natural affection. But the question is that natural affection did not arise till Kashi Mishra told him about that. Like, he forgave and he took him out of Changa and he kind of said, okay, horses will be taken and all, but that extra affection which was showered, that came when Kashi Mishra brought actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's connection in picture. He was knowing, Ramananda Rai, he only had relieved. That way he was knowing the whole family. But that extra affection of Mahaprabhu getting disturbed, some thoughts on that.
It's tough to answer whether he kind of, sometimes multiple proddings may help. I mean, they are parshadas, but even in our life, right? वो होता है ना, कभी एयरपोर्ट पे जा रहे हैं और तिलक है, double second look. First they look कि क्या था, फिर then they look again. अच्छा ये टीका है. It has happened, the second look. So maybe it was the second look and he started assessing. हाँ, हो सकता है गोपीनाथ पटनायक की जरूरतें ज्यादा है. क्योंकि that backdrop came, right? Mahaprabhu, so it maybe lit up the unlit areas. I can only speculate.
How did he feel by rewarding Gopinath Patnaik? Mahaprabhu will be pleased, or how did he connect to that? Imagine that situation.
Yeah.
Like he rewarded Gopinath Patnaik and he had that fear that Mahaprabhu may be upset. They already released him. So how did he feel that would please Mahaprabhu by rewarding him, by kind of giving him so much of...
Even though he knew that Mahaprabhu bolte the Nishkinchana se Bhagavad Bhajan Mukhasya, right? And already mujhko hi darshan nahi mil raha hai. So abhi mere ko lagta hai I will be further down the list.
But is it the katha before that? Of course, it comes in Chaitanya Antya Leela, so not in a chronological sense, but
okay. Yeah, we really do not know. But see, whether this pastime must have happened when Mahaprabhu would have reasonably settled in Jagannath Puri, or jo wo Chaitanya who was it? Swarup Damodar Goswami, who had shown Raja Prataprudra from the top ki who is this personality? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, right? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ne ki ye hai, ye Nityanand Prabhu hai. वो तो पहले साल ही हो गया होगा, right? So मतलब पहले से ही राजा Prataprudra would have known कि Sarvabhauma, but it also depends when did Sarvabhauma, okay, so chronological analysis करना पड़ेगा, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was defeated, then he became...
Yeah, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was defeated, Mahaprabhu kind of transformed him. The king was not there, Mahaprabhu went for South
India tour, so then he came back.
Yeah, to that he came, 2 years he stayed before he went to Vrindavan.
Yes.
Because it kept on postponing.
Yes.
After he came back, then this Leela immediately starts. Because even when Mahaprabhu is not there, that time king comes back. And he asked, why did you allow him to go back? So that processing, I mean, that kind of part takes place immediately when Mahaprabhu returns from South India Yatra. Ramanand Rai comes. Ramanand Rai comes and he glorifies. So this is the first Rath Yatra when he gets mercy.
Fine.
So it looks that this Leela has happened in a later way. Maybe because when did Mahaprabhu come back? We have to see some hint.
Yeah, and you are right, because Mahaprabhu in his talks is showing great affection for king also. Are uski kya galti hai?
Yeah, yeah, that way. So that Leela happened as the first Leela, because Ramanand Rai came immediately after.
Yes.
No waiting.
Yes.
Ramanand Rai reached immediately when Mahaprabhu reached, and he came to see. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya only introduces Bhavanand Rai and all his sons after Mahaprabhu comes back. So he introduces, this is Bhavanand Rai, this is Vaninath Rai. So maybe, but that will not make so much difference whether king has received mercy or not.
But why did, the question is still, why, what did king, so वही हो गया ना, सूरदास जो कहते हैं, काहू के मन को न जाने, लोगन के मन हासी, किसी का मन कोई नहीं जाता, और सब बाहर से देख के विचार ही करते रहते. तो हम भी, we are only also thinking that what would Pratapita would have thought कि by giving extra perks, Mahaprabhu would be pleased.
Already kind of.
Or maybe he would have thought, again, okay, we are only, please, any thoughts, any comments? Question. Okay. We didn't resolve. Maybe he thought the devotee will be pleased, and then Mahaprabhu ke liye agar devotee pleased hai to. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, so Mahaprabhu is clearly telling also in the later instruction to Gopinath Patnaik that don't do these things, and so time and again it is coming out in this discussion that Lord wants the person to abide by the rules which are there. Now we see case of Kal Krishna Das, we see case of Chota Das, we see case of this. So that was ashram based situation, this was Varna based situation.
For the Kaliya Krishna Das, he ran away with
Bhattahari. That was ashram based problem.
Ashram based problem.
And this is Varna based problem where one disgraces from the moral code of conduct.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lord categorically puts it as this is not acceptable. And at the same time, in all the three cases, there is a sense of mercy from the devotees. And then something gets resolved finally in all the cases.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly Lord really wants in these situations. It's such a intricate, way of working. Like Lord could do this, that he made some things happen internally, mercy of the Lord and King Pratap hand. Because usually there is some decision to be made for a person.
And here it's not like a very straightforward, right? Something very complex things are happening, isn't it?
Like here, one purport Prabhupada says, if a sannyasi takes a side of a Vishayi, a person engaged in material activities, his character will be criticized. And then he says, a person in the renounced order should not take interest in material activities, but if he does so out of affection for a particular person, that should be considered his special mercy. Now, special mercy means, that means affection can flow and then one can cross the boundary of all the rule idea and all that. And it is finally by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya only everything will happen. Implicitly, it is all Lord Chaitanya only. A king is an instrument of Lord Chaitanya.
Exactly.
Hari Chandan, whatever, Kashi Mishra, everyone is an instrument. No one can act beyond the purview of Lord's plan.
Somehow I'm just reminded about this book of Shivram Swami Maharaj, Na Paraye Hum. It's book written like Jaiva Dharma. There are historical characters and there are fictional characters. It's in that, okay, it's about Madhurya pastime, and the main crux of that are those 10th canto, 32nd chapter, those questions which Gopi is asking, bhai, tumhari category kaun si hai? And Maharaj just goes in depth, logically trying to, kind of this. A word is not good for deconstruct. I mean, deconstruct is a sort of bad word because the Western phenomenon, like we deconstruct into pieces and connect it back. But why I'm remembering that? Because वो उतने से 3 क्वेश्चंस के पीछे ना आचार्य ने पोथियां की पोथियां लिख दी है कि क्या चल रहा होगा मन में, क्यों ऐसा प्रश्न पूछा होगा. अब if that was not enough, our Prabhupada Anuga, Shivaram Maharaj also comes and writes a pothi. And maybe some other person will come and also write a pothi. So Thakur, Krishna ke hirday mein, what's going on? We don't know. I mean, that's why it's sometimes only a post hoc lesson learning.
I was trying to say from purport of Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is ISKCON context. Prabhupada is current Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may have Gambhir Leela, but
Prabhupada.
Here Prabhupada says that
he should not
get.
But if he is doing it, sir,
there's out of affection, Prabhupada says the word affection. That means affection flows for people who may have externally acted otherwise, which is not something which one wants.
Yeah.
No?
I mean,
like Gaurang Darshan was written the book disapproved but not disowned. You know? So out of affection, one may actually see that somewhere I should accommodate for this person, right? So is that the final balance, that somehow disapprove but not disown?
Certain principles are there, right? That last time we were also discussing that don't penalize the person twice. Offering and seeking forgiveness is not optional, it's mandatory. And every sinner has a future and every saint had a past. So when that principles are kept in mind, then perhaps a balance could be stuck somewhere. Because affection to avashyak hai, matlab nahi to. And sometimes it's just the mysterious Bhakti Devi in the heart. Bhaktya Sanjatya Bhaktya. The Bhakti hops from a heart of a Madhyam Adhikari into the heart of a recipient. But who gets that? I mean, we go on book distribution. Sometimes we choose and we don't intellectually analyze, right? As a computer pe iska history aa gaya, he has. No, sometimes we just go to one person, sometimes not. So who is that independent orchestrator? Vishnu Chakri Thakur says that it's that bhakti in the heart kind of does something, because she's also an independent Shakti of Krishna. So maybe, okay, bhakti is inspiring. Now you unleash your full affection. Arey, sab maaf karo. And sometimes it could be like something else. How to understand it? Mere to palle ke bahar hai. But yeah, at least some balance from some principles, sir. Certain things are to be, decision has to be taken. What is that? Another principle. Better to err on a safer side and better to give benefit of doubt also. And I think that's where empathy also comes in. वो बंदा क्या गुजर रहा होगा उस situation से, उसके शूज, वो सबसे टफ होता है. उसके शूज में शूज तो नहीं, पादुकाओं में बैठ के देखा जाए कि will I would have also done that, the same thing? Maybe not. So that also brings another factor of empathy is very hard. I mean, super high science. I don't know, Prabhu, that answered or confounded more.
That's fine. Reflections on
reflection.
It. One more, Prabhu.
Please.
He says in another purport, when a person forgets his position as an eternal servant of Krishna, he commits many sinful activities. But one who maintains his position as an eternal servant of Krishna cannot deviate from the path of morality, religion, and ethics. So we see here he's sitting on the Changa and remembering Krishna's name. So he's an eternal pure devotee of Krishna. He's remembering Krishna's name. So when we discuss these characters, they're always eternally remembering Krishna.
Yeah.
So when
the line was saying that agar koi Krishna ka shuddh bhakt hai, right? तो वो morality और इसको भी लात नहीं मारेगा, correct?
That's what. No? So I'm asking that, like dancing girls, dealing with these pounds and shillings with this wrong idea.
Yeah.
So he's an eternal servant. So as such, we put everything, okay, pure devotee, Leela, everything, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Yeah, in my understanding, the reconciliation here sort of really, but हम तो देखते हैं कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है ना वही. I think that's again Krishna consciousness में spirituality में things are not black and white, it's gray scale. यथा यथा तथा तथा, जितना जितना शुद्ध भक्ति होगी उतना उतना इसका भी मूल्यांकन हम करेंगे. We will evaluate these principles of morality also, because वो कोई binary state तो है नहीं कि एक पूरा शुद्ध भक्त है तो अब बिल्कुल deviate नहीं होगा. We are all ranging in the middle, isn't it? Does that?
Sorry to interrupt.
Please.
I am trying to understand. Here we are dealing about Gopinath Patnaik.
ठीक है.
So although he is very clearly qualified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself as an eternal servant of Krishna, but still it happens to be that in his Leela he acts the other way, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you should not have acted this way, although he is pure devotee. So that means even someone who is categorically put as the pure devotee, in the Leela itself it is coming that he acted that way, acted the other way.
वो तो भाई कृष्ण तो कुछ भी करवा सकते हैं. वेवर्ड सोल्स को अट्रैक्ट कराने के लिए क्या क्या नहीं करा सकते हैं. बिल्वामन ठाकुर को क्या, he took him for a ride. और नॉर्थ में जो है तुलसीदास, right? He just got attracted again. He became Lattu on Ratnavati, and एक शब्द बोला, and sometimes बस वो एक चौपाई बोली, उसी से ही पूरा मन. So I think Krishna can use his pure devotees as his puppets. He's a master puppeteer. But I think you brought out Srila Prabhupada's point, and I think that stuck with me. That's a wonderful point. And I take it in that way that as we are becoming more and more integrated in our heart towards that pure aspiration, then that integrity also extends beyond the devotional society. It's a wholesome thing, right? And that's why Prabhupada says things will be perfect, gentlemen. And when our devotees will, रात में तो रोज का गार्डन और सुबह अधेड़ गार्डन हो जाता था ना ऐसे प्रभुपाद के समय पे, beautiful rose garden, and the morning all the roses gone. They would clip off all the roses. Prabhupada would not like it. अरे उनके रोजे उन्होंने उगाए हैं, तो परमिशन ले लो. ऐसा कैसे? नहीं, कृष्णा की प्रॉपर्टी है तो that belongs to us. I think that's where that attitude is of superiority attitude kind of kicks in. We are entitled. So pure devotee, the closer a devotee comes to the pure devotional platform, humility kicks in, sense of entitlement is lost, and hence I must follow all the rules because I'm not entitled to something special. So if other people are following the state rules, I better do that too, because I am just one cog in the wheel. So I think that's why this line is sort of a degree, yatha yatha tatha tatha, like that. Yatha yatha parimridyate so tatha tatha vastu pashyati, sukshmam vastu pashyati. Thank you. That's why it's enriching. More comments, thoughts? Yes, Prabhuji.
Just want to share some of my reflections on the discussion we had before this, that when a Lord or a spiritual master takes a strong stand against a devotee or punishes a devotee strongly, other devotees come and put a support. That discussion we had just now before this. And we have many examples, like 3 were quoted here. How I see it is other devotees, Lord inspires some of the devotees to support that devotee, to give a support to that devotee so that he does not break down emotionally, or if the devotees also take the Lord's side, in that way this devotee will not have anyone to take shelter of. So this is one reason. And at the same time, when the devotees give support, they do not say that in a sense that what you have done is not a mistake. So they do it to give him a support so that he continues devotional service and does not give up, or of course in this case he will not give up, but in general, like in the case of
fatherly and motherly,
just like that. So Lord inspires some devotees to offer that support while he is giving a correction, to that devotee. We see the example of even Bali Maharaj also, when he had given off entire property that he had in 2 steps, and third step he was left off, and Lord wanted to punish him for not completing his promise, and all the relatives and even a spiritual master, everyone chastises him that you did not follow us, and everyone is against him. In one sense, Lord also is going to punish him now. Already he is bound by the ropes. So at that time, Lord Brahma comes and Prahlad Maharaj comes, and Brahma says that, "Oh Lord, you are pleased even by a single leaf of when offered to you with love. And in this case, Bali Maharaj offered everything to you, the whole property that he had. So you should forgive him." So they too take side of Bali Maharaj. So in that way, Lord is creating in all these cases, I understand it as a Lord is inspiring some devotees to create a
culture,
motherly support.
yeah.
And that's how a family deals when somebody does a mistake, or that's a mature community. It's a way a mature community deals with someone who does a mistake in the community. The spiritual master or the leader of the community may take a strong stand, but somehow Lord inspires some devotees to
Cushion
him. Yeah, right. Exactly. Cushion him. And that is not for, and to say clearly, it's not for saying that what you have done is not a mistake, but that is to give him a support to go through that punishment part of it. This is how I can think of it.
Wasn't that very thoughtful? Thank you for sharing. Very thoughtful. More comments, reflection, thoughts? Anything you liked? Adi Bhagwan. When we see in Prabhupada's time also, right? When something happened with the sannyasi and then everybody was dealing hard and Prabhupada brought his mother, like, kya, tumhe aisa treat kar rahe ho? He can be here. Don't ostracize so much. And Prabhupada's love would come. And then when they would come back, Prabhupada would lovingly put his hand and cry with them, "Oh, my good boy, you have come back." Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Yes.
Krishna. Same thing what Prabhuji was saying. I had read something about forgiveness and doing justice and comparison. So sometimes we have seen also in past times or in the our society also that the institutional decision or something which is posed in front of the institute for a mistake the person might have done, maybe something which the community should think about, that okay, that kind of mistake is not good to be done, but always the personal devotional service of that devotee is thought over, that how he can continue his devotional service in a sense. So it is many times dealt in that way, that the person's devotional service is continued, like Prabhuji said. So, but institutionally it may be portrayed in a way that what he did was not very good and it should not be again done by somebody else thinking it to be good. That is one thought. And another thing I wanted to share, Prabhuji, like earlier as you shared that that rules and regulations, even the devotees, when they are in the material world, so they should not forget the rules of the material world. Obviously, Prabhupada says that wherever the devotees, pure devotees are, that is the spiritual world, but the rules of the material world should be followed. And I remember a conversation of Srila Prabhupada where it happened in Mayapur, if I remember, yeah. So where there is a discussion over Varnashrama, that how a devotee should be following the Varnashrama system or not, because they have Bhakti Adhikar and it is like Navavidha Bhakti, the essence of their practice. So Prabhupada there, he brings out a very balanced answer. He says that they should not become, I'm putting in my words, they should not become Varnashrami. The heart should not become Varnashrami, means they should not have the faith of a Varnashrami or a Karma Yogi, but they should be doing bhakti, but they should do it as a example for the society. So he said a very important word. There he said the pilot project. The ISKCON should act as a pilot project for the whole world, so that they can see that yeah, devotees also follow rules and regulations. They also follow everything, But internally, he said the devotees should actually follow the Navavida Bhakti at their heart. But externally, they should not be breaking the rules and regulations, thinking them to be something high. So
What's the verse of Bhagavad Gita supporting this?
yeah, Yadad Acharati Shrestha, that is one thing. And even that great saints and sages, they follow the rules and regulations. That also Bhagavad Gita says that. So Manishina. So that one thing Prabhupada said that it should be as a pilot project so that all the people can be attracted to devotional service. At the same time, devotees set the right example for the world. Yeah,
we cannot live in silos also, right? We are interacting with the world. So we are in the cities more so, right, than the farms. So I think if they see they are also responsible citizens of the country and the world, oh, that also, because not many are responsible. There are many who break. So, oh, these are perfect gentlemen, then they will be, that will do half of the preaching. Becoming aspiring to be a good gentleman and, oh, उसी से वो निहाल हो जाएंगे, बाकी का फिर बोनस है. Thank you for bringing those very nice points. You have more to say, share?
Just to connecting point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eva Bahya, but sometimes we may consider that, okay, it is not required for devotees. Bahya means, in my understanding, it should be there as external, it should not become internal, but it should be there as external. Yeah, it should be there as the following rules.
उस चर्चा का context भी तो अलग ही है.
Yeah, it is with Ramanandra. Yeah.
Okay, more thoughts, comments, reflections? Oh. And last, should I volunteer? Some folks. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. You're a lover of psychology, right?
I just like that point in which you said that we have to be careful that someone asks that can I lie outside? So
actually that was me only who asked that about it.
So I understand it like that the way we act in one area of our life, in the same way we act in other areas of our life also. So even if devotional service, if we are given any small service also, like washing the plate or giving water to deities, offering like very simple service, it may seem extreme, but the way we do it, that same way we will do it in all the other areas also.
So, excellent. That's why these discussions are important. I put it nicely. What does many of our sannyasi Maharajas stress? Service is important, but more important than that is attitude, because that spills over, right? So thank you for putting it so succinctly and simple thing, right? If we can't keep the room clean, then how can we keep the altar clean? And how can we keep our relationships clean? Usme bhi some muddle hoga. So it just spills over. Anarthas are very, like pesky, independent-minded personalities who hop from compartments to other compartments. So we have to be careful. Yeah. Thank you for putting it. Okay. There was some other hand. I was thinking I'll volunteer Rukmini Vallabh Prabhu. You want to share something? Not today? Yes. Something should, no?
I heard that justice is only meant to enable a person to get benefit of the mercy of the Lord.
Oh. Wow. Very nice. Is that like Rukmini Vallabhism?
No, like means Maharaj gave example that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with Jagai Madai. So he became angry so that they become purified and they take the shelter of the Lord.
So nicely said. Phalena parichayate. So we end with Swapnil Prabhu saying something, right?
Mataji, she used to say one thing: the way you do anything is the way you do everything for Krishna. So whenever she used to train someone, this was a statement she used to say, and then she used to train to even clean pots or whatever.
See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired me to say, and you just gave the one-liner. The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
For Krishna.
Amazing. I think Bhakti Tirth Maharaj would say, how you should treat anybody you meet as though your entire devotional life is dependent on that interaction. Huh? Qualitative. I think these are hard enough austerities than the other austerities of whatever, Okay, Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu.